The other boys were streaming in their beds too. I leapt up and put back my sheets. My bed was seething mass of caterpillars, hundreds of creepy caterpillars wriggling and sliding everywhere. And not just ordinary caterpillars. These caterpillars were huge. They were big slugs the size of cockroaches. And the ones I scratched had left revolting black stains on the mattress. Pools of black goo with gold streaks in them, like evil-looking fried eggs. We were all on our feet, hauling off our sheets and looking at our beds in disgust. And that's when we noticed our pajamas were horribly stained with dead caterpillar goo. Yuck! One boy's pajamas dripped with black goat goo ooze. It was running over his feet. The door flew open. Mr. Choi and another teacher ran in. "What's all the noise about?" he demanded. His eyes almost popped out of his head when he saw the mess we were in. "What have you boys been doing?" Then he discovered the caterpillars wriggling and writhing in our beds. Where did they come from? I was using one of Aaron's slippers to scrape a huge caterpillar from his back. "They were in our beds, Mr. Choi," I told him with my voice jittery with fear. He shook his head. "Well, you can't stay in here. I'll report this to the camp manager in the morning." He clapped his hands like he does at school when he wants our attention. "I want you all to change into fresh pajamas immediately, and you can sleep in the other rooms instead." He stared at the ugly caterpillars while we quickly got changed. Then he brought us to spare beds in the other rooms. I drifted into an uneasy sleep. Once or twice in the night I awoke in a cold sweat. I'd heard noises, weird noises like wings beating. "Bats maybe," I told myself before I fell back asleep again. And I had this weird dream. I went to the toilet. When I came back, everyone was pointing at me with their hands to their mouths, and suddenly I felt something on my shoulder. I tried to shake it away. When I turned around, I saw nothing behind me, but everyone still looked petrified, and they told me that a hand dripping with blood had come out of the toilet, a black and gold hand. In the morning, Mr. Choi took us back to our room to get dressed, but when we opened the door, we all stood in the doorway and stared. We couldn't believe our eyes. The dead caterpillars were still there, and so were the revolting black and gold stains, splattered all over the sheets and floor. But there wasn't a single wriggling caterpillar to be seen. The room was empty, and then we saw it. Something had torn a huge, gaping hole in the window. The mosquito netting had been ripped away. We could see claw marks on the wooden shutters too. "They've escaped!" screamed Aaron. "Aaron Yo, be quiet." Mr. Choi examined the damaged window. "Caterpillars can't do things like this." He shot us a suspicious look. "Did one of you boys damage the window?" We shook our heads. He must have been crazy to think anyone would have come back into this room. Aaron gave a nervous little cough. "Mr. Choi," he began, "I think someone is watching us." For a moment there was silence. All you could hear was a soft sighing of the breeze. Then one of the boys giggled. Mr. Choi stared at Aaron. "What are you talking about, young man?" I tried to put a hand over Aaron's mouth, but he brushed it away. "Ever since we got here," he said, "someone has been watching us, and now they're starting to do things."